You're listening to Brazil Central.
Well, Brazil is Australia's biggest competitor as an iron ore exporter, and it is a nation polarised. On Sunday, it could elect its first far-right president since the country emerged from military dictatorship in the mid-1980s. The polls say the populist hard-right politician Jair Bolsonaro will easily win office. He's ridden a wave of anti-government sentiment after 14 years of rule by the Workers' Party, the PT, fuelled by the powerful use of social media and a perfect storm of economic downturn, corruption and rising crime. In a moment, Brazilian-born university lecturer Deborah Farias has some insights into the massive Amazonian nation and its very divisive politics at the moment. But first, here's how things stand for Brazilians who are casting their votes in Australia. Alexandra Fisher reports.
Alex Spangler is travelling hundreds of kilometres from his home on the New South Wales north coast to Sydney this weekend for one reason.
So I'm catching a flight to Sydney to vote for the first time since 2002.
For Alex Spangler, there is too much at stake to not vote this time, with Brazil's far-right candidate, Jair Bolsonaro, within striking distance of the presidency.
I'm taking it very seriously because I think the danger of dismantling Brazil's young democracy is way too big. This is an election of rejection. So it's not that I'm voting for the Labour Party because I think they are the best for the country. I'm just rejecting 100% what Bolsonaro represents.
He's voting for Bolsonaro's rival, Fernando Haddad, from the leftist Workers' Party, or PT. That's the party of Lula da Silva, the former president who was jailed for corruption earlier this year. The PT led Brazil for more than 14 years. It had striking early successes with anti-poverty programs as the economy grew because of high global commodity prices. But the economy is now in a sharp downturn. At the same time, a slew of the party's politicians has been mired in scandal involving bribes paid by the state oil company, Petrobras. And crime is increasing. In this climate, Bolsonaro has been painted as Brazil's saviour, and large crowds have come together for rallies, including in Rio de Janeiro. Bolsonaro's hard-line anti-corruption law and order message has resonated with an increasingly angry population. Brazilian expatriate Diego Luzada da Silva, who is voting for Bolsonaro this weekend in Sydney, is a case in point.
The main things that will jump out with most Brazilians right now is escalation in crime, because it's taking away the quality of life. It's just dangerous going out late at night, and there's nothing you can do. Police can't act on it, and people just don't. There are not enough jobs. There are not enough companies investing in Brazil anymore. So we need a change. And the corruption has gone way too far.
Olá, Jair Bolsonaro. Venho a público agora me dirigir à família brasileira.
In a campaign video, Bolsonaro appeals to families he says were disrespected by the PT government for 14 years.
Afinal, no caderno de tese do PT,
he's one of the most controversial politicians in recent Brazilian history, accused of sexism, racism and homophobia. In a 2012 interview with Playboy Brazil, Bolsonaro said he wouldn't be able to love a gay son. And in 2014, he said a female politician was very ugly and doesn't deserve to be raped. Here's Bolsonaro supporter Diego Luzada da Silva again.
I might not agree with everything he does or say, but it's the much needed change. It's just the tough pill that Brazil needs to swallow at the moment.
He has been accused of being racist, homophobic and sexist, though. How does that sit with you?
I don't agree. I believe most of the things that have been brought up, they've been taken out of context, especially a few of the things that he said, I think almost 10 years old. Brazil was a different place back then. And even he came public with that, saying that he've learned, he's grown, and he's changed his stance on most of those issues.
Alex Spangler says he's never seen Brazil more polarised, with violent incidents linked to supporters on both sides. Bolsonaro himself was a victim of a stabbing attack last month. Alex Spangler says Brazilians in Australia fear for minorities back home.
So I have friends in Brazil, gay friends, who are afraid to go out on the street.
On Sunday, Brazilians will deliver their verdict. Diego Luzada da Silva's vote, cast from Sydney, will be among those counted.
People just absolutely need a change, and the left, we know it's not going to deliver that. So even if you don't agree with everything that Bolsonaro is saying, people are just going, he's our only hope of actually seeing something changing in the landscape, and maybe after we go for a different president. But right now, he's the only one that's showing a solution for it.
Alex Spangler's vote will be there too.
In Brazil, we had this old saying that politics, religion, and football are things that you do not discuss. And because everybody gets too angry about it. And I think we have to learn to respect each other more from both sides of politics. But I think if we survive, we will learn. And so maybe in 4 years we'll have actually the discussion about which country we want instead of which country we do not want.
Alex Spangler, who is voting in Brazil's election, speaking there with reporter Alexandra Fisher.
Você está ouvindo Brasil Central.
Conta que quando o sol de novo clarear, eu já notei sem perceber.
Good afternoon, everybody. Brazil Central Radio in the house once again. Thank you so much, Mia Armitage and the whole newsroom crew for another amazing show. Brazil Central Radio special edition, Brazilian elections, a 1.5, I'd say, hour show starting now. It's 18 minutes past noon. I'm going to interview voters from Haddad and Bolsonaro related to the story we've just listened that was broadcasted yesterday by PM. Alexandra is the reporter. I'll get her last name pretty soon. Right now we're listening to Baiano Unplugged with Zuco 103. I'll be right back. This is Brazil Central Radio. My name is Alex Spangler. Sejam todos bem-vindos.
Esse baiano tem dele, esse baiano tem dele, esse baiano tem dele, que não é de ninguém. Vou te contar que quando o sol de novo clarear, eu já notei sem perceber, eu começo a sonhar em poder te ver, te cheirar, tocar. Quero ver, então montar o que é que esse baiano. Já desliguei o meu mobil e ninguém me ligou. Eu consultei o internet e o e-mail chegou só pra me dizer que meu pulso está desligado. Então mostrar o que esse baiano tem. Luz do sol é prazer. Toda a gente acaba sambando sem perceber que o amor vai reger tudo que passa que vem não vem. Esse baiano tem dele, esse baiano tem dele, baiano tem. Baiano tem.
Você está ouvindo Brasil Central.
Agora é free! A solução pro nosso povo eu vou dar. A solução pro nosso povo eu vou dar. A solução pro nosso povo eu vou dar. Negócio bom assim ninguém nunca viu. Tá tudo pronto aqui, é só vir pegar. É
group of Indigenous leaders from across the globe will converge at North Byron Parklands for the first ever Fields of Healing event over the weekend of November 24th and 25th. This historic gathering will be an awe-inspiring celebration of cultural diversity and unity through music, art, workshops, performance, ecological education and much more. With a host of guest speakers sharing the wisdom of ancient cultures, this is a rare opportunity not to be missed. Tickets are limited and available now at fieldsofhealing.com.au. This is a family-friendly, drug and alcohol-free event where everybody is welcome. See you at Fields of Healing, November 24th and 25th, 2018. Presented by Unity Earth, proud sponsors of Bay FM.
Bay FM 99.9. One step ahead of reality as we know it.
Oh, reality. This is Brazil Central Radio. Welcome, everybody. Sejam bem-vindos todas as pessoas, todos os ouvintes. This is a Brazilian show and bilingual show as well. I speak to you in this Australian of mine with a Brazilian accent, but also Portuguese em Brazilian style. Hoje estamos refletindo as eleições presidenciais no Brasil, principalmente, que é o que interessa mais aos brasileiros morando no exterior e mais especificamente na Austrália. A gente vai entrevistar 2 eleitores do Bolsonaro. Tem uma moça que está viajando, o nome dela é Julia, ela viajou de Melbourne para Sydney para votar, ela está voltando para o Brasil, então ela está bastante preocupada com o que está acontecendo lá. E nós temos também o Marcio, que é da região de Brisbane, que a gente vai tentar contato com ele já. Também vai falar um pouquinho a respeito das considerações, reflexões e por que ele decidiu votar, em quem ele vai votar. Vocês ouviram aí no começo do programa uma matéria que foi veiculada pela ABC ontem, que eu dei uma entrevista, e agora eu estou aqui no lugar de apresentador, num lugar mais de poder moderar as discussões do que dar a minha própria opinião. Vamos ver se eu me empolgar para o finalzinho do show. Quem sabe eu faço um editorialzinho aí desse momento tão importante dessa jovem república democrática aí do Brasil, né? Eu acho que a gente está num ponto muito interessante em todo o mundo, onde a democracia ela precisa avançar ou ela invariavelmente recua. É um daqueles momentos chaves da história mundial. Existe um levante realmente de raiva e descontentamento com a maneira como as coisas vêm sendo conduzidas na política, seja no espectro da direita ou da esquerda. Em todo o mundo está acontecendo, aqui na Austrália acontece, na Europa, Estados Unidos e não diferente também na América do Sul. We listened in the beginning of the show to Baiano Unplugged with Zuco 103 and then a tribute to today's show, Special Elections 2018. Brazilians are going to vote this Sunday to choose the next president for the 4-year term, starting from January 2019. And then I think I also played a song that was very appropriate. It's the father of Brazilian rock as we know it. His name is Raul Seixas, and I played DJ Vivi Seixas remix version, a more modern version of an old and very accurate song that's called Aluga-se, which means Brazil is available for renting. So we just, since we're not able to do stuff the way we'd like, we just rent it out to the foreigners. So it's obviously there's irony in there, but there's good political comments in sarcasm, humor, and irony. Right now, I'm going to play to you some songs of the Rough Guide to Brazilian Jazz, and I'm going to start with O Rei de Tupanga, Tupanga's King, and this is from Iconili. I hope you like it. This is Brazil Central Radio. Muito bem, esse é o Rei de Tupanga, Iconili, Rough Guide to Brazilian Jazz. Is an album I just found out about it and I selected a couple of songs from it. Pretty good.
Brazil Central.
We have Brazilian elections on Sunday, one of the most important elections ever. Brazil is a young democracy. We had a military dictatorship until 1984. So it's a young and still fragile democracy. And we're going to have an election now between two candidates with very distinct positions. One is a former military. His name is Jair Bolsonaro. He's ahead of the polls right now with around 54%. That's the latest poll that was released today. So it fell 6 points from the last polls, but it's still with a very comfortable margin to win the elections on Sunday. Brazilians overseas also vote for president. They have to be registered to do so. And I'm going to talk now live from Sydney to Julia Harger. So she is a designer. She lives in Australia and she traveled all the way from Melbourne to Sydney to be able to vote because her voting address is in Sydney. She's quite worried about it, the results of the election with the prospect of Jair Bolsonaro winning. So I'm going to talk to her and understand more of her fears. She's going from Haddad. Fernando Haddad is the Labour's party candidate. That it's a name chosen by the former President Lula that is now in jail to succeed him since Lula couldn't run. And yes, let's talk to Julia. Hello, Julia. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you
so much.
No worries. Thank you.
Much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. Yes, so I am here to vote for Fernando Haddad. I think he is much more prepared. He has done a wonderful job as a Minister of Education. He has done a lot for education in Brazil. I think that's a very important point. And also the fact that I really reject everything about the candidate of the opposition.
Yes.
Not only politically, but morally, the things he says about women, because I am a woman and, I am also part of the LGBT community. I think everything that he says that really offends us, it needs to be taken seriously,
Yes, it's an interesting point. Nobody knows what's going to happen really, and we know that he's one of the most polemic candidates ever in the history of Brazil. ABC said that themselves. He did mention in the past that he wouldn't be able to love a son if the son was gay.
That's very strong.
Yes, absolutely. But he also said that he changed his position, and I have seen on the internet some photos, especially one that he's posing next to a Brazilian male dressed in woman. It's like a... definitely somebody making a case that the LGBT community is also with Bolsonaro. Yeah. How you feel about that?
I feel that they might be manipulated, or I also feel that, I do understand in a way how people would like a break from the Workers' Party because they have been in the government for such a long time and they do have the problems, but I just think that going to the extreme now is not the answer. I would rather have the same problems as we already have than being worse. Because Brazil is the country that most kill homosexuals or just LGBT people for hate crimes. I think it's 1 in every 25 hours is killed. So it's just very strong, for us.
Definitely.
Difficult.
Do you mind telling me who did you vote for in the first round? Did you vote for Haddad as well?
Yeah, I did because Manuela was my first option.
Yeah.
She was running for candidate by herself. I'm really into her values as a politician, as a mother, as a woman. So I really admire that. So when she joined Fernando Haddad, I just voted for them because I really wanted to actually vote for her.
So it's actually, your vote is not really a rejection vote, because that was the point of the story we saw on ABC earlier today, that we have a very polarized election. It's not exactly that people are for, people who are against Jair Bolsonaro, most of them are not for Haddad, but they're actually rejecting Bolsonaro. But that's not your case, really.
No, it's not my case, because I know that the Workers' Party has a lot of problems, especially the corruption scandals. But I think this is not exclusive of this party. This is a problem, a systematic problem in Brazil.
So you're not concerned that the country that featured in one of the worst corruption scandals of the history has been governing the country for the last 14 years, you can say a little bit less if you count the impeachment, even though it's the same group, it's the vice president who took over, the worst recession in Brazilian history, rampant crime, 72,000 people killed every year. Nothing has really been done to address that problem. Education is not working well. So do you think the Labour Party has what it takes to change whatever they needed to change that they done themselves?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the country really needed a break. I also think that the Workers' Party did not do enough for security. This is something that they did not take it seriously. But like I said, it's also, I don't have much choice, There's no way Bolsonaro represents me in any way. And I'm voting for Manuela, really, because I really share my values with her.
All right. Thank you so much. Julia Harger, she's a designer. She's speaking from Sydney. She traveled all the way from Melbourne to vote. She's going back to Brazil soon, so definitely she is concerned about what's going on over there. Thank you so much for your time and good luck. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity.
No worries. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Muito bem, essa foi a Julia. So that's a Haddad voter. We're going to have a Bolsonaro voter as well to speak his mind. So yes, the LGBT community is quite concerned because Bolsonaro has said a bunch of homophobic things in the past, even though in the second round of the election he's been trying to gain support of this minority in Brazil. Let's keep listening to music, and this time Tulipa Ruiz with the song Expirou, Expired.
Sinto falta de tempo que eu ouvi dos amigos. Tava escrito num livro
everybody. 1:45 p.m. right now. This is Brazil Central Radio broadcasting live from Bay FM 99.9. We are in Byron Bay. It's a beautiful day outside. If you're close to the water, jump in. It's quite hot here. If you don't know the region, please come and visit. I'd like to say hi to send a hug, as we do in Brazil, to big friends listening to us through the internet. Sebastian Job, Antônio Carlos de Souza Júnior, o Junex, e também a Carla Adriano de Aquino, que está no Rio de Janeiro, no Brasil. Acho que a Carlinha está lá. Então, um abração para vocês e se liguem que a gente tem uma página no Facebook, tá? Brazil Central Radio on Facebook. This is how you find us. Brazil with the Portuguese spelling S instead of Z. B-R-A-S-I-L. Central Radio. Find us on Facebook. Give us a like, okay? Talk to us. Let us know what you like and you don't like so we can make it better. This show, it's for you.
The most easterly station in the nation. Bay FM 99.9.
Meu Rapjazz. Tassia Reis.
Eu fico sempre na moral, mas sabe, más notícias abalam o meu astral. Eu tô legal, não tá ruim. Tô forte, tô viva, tô bem longe do fim, acho, né? Sempre levando uns tocos, a vida dando um soco. A quem acha que é pouco, mas não é. Mas nem ligo pros outros, quero chegar no topo. Loucura racha coco, sem bope pra mané. Sem desperdiçar energia, várias patifarias querendo me arrastar. Não dou ideia pra essas heresias, sou de periferia, tipo ruim de se enganar. Mas deixa os bicos zoar, ninguém vai assumir, mas todos querem brilhar. Minha intuição quer cantar, tira um segundo pra ouvir, que eu não costumo falhar. Ideia zoada nem consta, nem pago pra mostrar, direto e na fuça, e sem blá blá blá. Não flow que assusta, meu rap jazz, sem mimimi, zum zum zum, Zé Fini, aqui é claque boom. Menos enrolação e mais ação, mais participação e mais ação, menos falação e mais ação. Faladores falam muito, eu não tenho tempo a perder. Quero vencer por mim e lutar por você. Se depender de mim, vou merecer o respeito que aprendi que devo lutar pra ter. Isso me fez fortalecer, desenvolver. Se não fosse sagaz, tava em outro rolê pra você ver, pra você ver. Luz para o ser, que batalha, trabalha e não falha no seu proceder. Deus sempre vê quem é aliado e quem tá de papo furado querendo pagar de ser. Deixa estar, deixa se crescer. O tempo é quem vai poder dizer. Não faço nada mais que respeitar meus pés. Eu vivo o meu rap jazz. Ideia zoada não consta, nem constará quem é, quem não é nunca será. Conversa fiada não rola, nem rolará quem é, quem não é nunca será. Quem é, quem não é nunca será. Não, 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 não. Nunca será, nunca será.
This was Meu Happy Jazz, my rap jazz with Tassia Reis. The album is Rough Guide to Brazilian Jazz. We're going to listen to some sponsorships and I'll be right back.
Got the big bank blues? Hi, I'm Russell Shaw, representing Acceptance Finance as a personal banker and lending consultant. The backing of a large national group means I deal with major lenders to get you the loan that suits your situation. I maintain relationships with my customers over the long term, just like bank managers did in the good old days. But you won't need to go to any big buildings. I'll come to you at a time that suits you. So call me, Russell Shaw, on 66 80 80 45 or find me on acceptancefinance.com.au. Sponsoring Bay FM.
If you're a woman over 40, then this message could be of vital importance to you. Do you suffer from hot flushes, night sweats, insomnia, weight gain or poor memory? If you answered yes, you may be experiencing menopause.
Learn to beat menopause holistically with Australia's leading expert in Ayurvedic medicine, Ramandas Mahatyagi.
At the Byron Bay Community Centre, Friday, November the 9th at 6:30pm.
Call or book your seat now on 1300 552260. Yatan Holistic Ayurvedic Centre, sponsoring Bay FM.
You're listening to Bay FM 99.9.
Yes, that's right. My name is Alex Spengler. Sejam todos bem-vindos. Esse é o seu programa bilíngue, todas as sextas-feiras, normalmente da 1 às 2 da tarde, hoje excepcionalmente a partir do meio-dia. Então a gente já está... Na verdade, a gente começou hoje um pouquinho mais tarde. O pessoal do Newsroom deu uma esticada, tudo bem, somos todos amigos. Now the time is 9 minutes to 1, and we're going to listen to Samurai with the Nomade Orchestra.
you ready for Smash Mouth?
Hey now, you're an all-star. And then I saw her face.
Smash Mouth explode on stage with all their hits. Hidden Twin Towns for one night only. Tickets just $69. See Smash Mouth at Twin Towns November 9. Smash Mouth at Twin Towns. Seeing is believing. twintowns.com.au.
Sponsoring Bay FM.
A group of Indigenous leaders from across the globe will converge at North Byron Parklands for the first ever Fields of Healing event over the weekend of November 24th and 25th. This historic gathering will be an awe-inspiring celebration of cultural diversity and unity through music, art, workshops, performance, ecological education and much more. With a host of guest speakers sharing the wisdom of ancient cultures, this is a rare opportunity not to be missed. Tickets are limited and available now at fieldsofhealing.com.au. This is a family-friendly, drug and alcohol-free event where everybody is welcome. See you at Fields of Healing, November 24th and 25th, 2018. Presented by Unity Earth, proud sponsors of Bay FM.
When the rock will do our dances, you're tuned to Bay FM 99.9. Support your community radio. Subscribe to Daily You.
Hello everybody, Alex Spengler in the house. This is Brazil Central Radio. Officially, we would be starting our show right now, around now, 1 p.m. But today we have a special elections edition. We already spoke to a friend, a friend of a friend who is voting for Haddad. So thank you, Nina, for introducing me to Julia. She traveled all the way to Sydney from Melbourne. She's going to Brazil. She's concerned and she gave her reasons. She is a member of the LGBT community, so she's concerned that Bolsonaro is too hardline and homophobic. She can't accept. And she's been a historical voter for the Workers' Party. I asked her, even with a bad record in corruption for the Workers' Party, she still believes that they are the better option. And I'm also going to talk to a Bolsonaro supporter in around 20 minutes. And in around 1 minute, maybe two, I'll talk to Valmor Moraes. It's our Brazilian Honorary Consul in Brisbane. He's going to talk about the technicalities of the voting system on Sunday. But right now we're going to listen music. We have a whole set dedicated to one of the greatest artists of Brazilian music, pop figure, rapper. His name is Mano Brown, and this song is called De Frente Pro Mar.
Você precisa ver, quero ver você, oh maravilha, hey. Pra conversar com Deus, buscar, entender meu eu, me achar, frente pro mar, frente pro mar. Eu juro, levar lá ao altar pra ser feliz na prece que eu fiz, de frente pro mar. Toda de branco, tudo de bom, o nosso Réveillon valer. Que me esqueceu, atenção, aquele abraço fortão, tudo de bom pra você. Eu me mantenho, refiro no mesmo bate local. Veja os moleques cresceram até o outro Natal. Até a cara feia não finjo, o que me aflige é dores do mundo que me atinge, né? Se o que passou, passou reto, eu sou o que sou mesmo. Desafio, futuro sombrio, tô nem vendo o céu. Seja de São Paulo, uma dose de champanhe, que o nosso Deus te acompanhe onde você estiver. Que seja luz para o seu pé, porque os espinhos virão. Sei que o perfume é bom e embriago, irmão. Eu dou um trago na intenção, diabo que traga você. Veja o estrago que fez do verso amargo que eu li. Mas de que vale tudo isso se você não está aqui? Não vem com medo de perder, ter de escravo dessa porra. Pra que esse amor não morra, eu vim. Você quer de mim, não sei. Promessa que eu fiz.
Pra conversar com Deus, buscar entender meu eu, me achar de frente pro mar, de frente pro mar. Eu levar lá ao altar pra ser feliz na prece que eu fiz de frente pro mar. Vem, toda de branco, tudo de bom, o nosso Réveillon valer.
BayFM 99.9, the alternative voice.
True, alternative voice indeed is not in every community station around the country that you can listen to so many good ethnic shows, being modest here. But we have Indonesian, we have Japanese, we have Italian, so we do have a good menu. Check our website to find out when we are on Brazil Central Radio every Friday from 1 to 2, broadcasting live also from the internet, bayfm.org. Shout out to João Neto, listening to us from the city of Campo Grande, no Brasil. Abraço para ti, Mano Velho. Muita saudade. Right now I'm going to talk to another Brazilian, but closer, from Brisbane. His name is Valmor Moraes. He is the Honorary Consul of Brazil in Brisbane, and he's going to talk about the elections. Valmor, thank you for talking to us once again. You are a regular already, eh?
Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right, you send me your invoice. I'll pay you in hugs.
All right.
All right, Valmor, tell me what are your concerns from Sunday and what people should know before they head to the voting booth, whatever they are designated to vote.
Yeah, no, that's fine. This time, for the second turn, I'm not so much concerned as I was in the first, because there was a lot of confusion where people should go, which kind of document they should present. But we, in Queensland, we have 600 voters, Brazilian voters. In Sydney, we have almost 5,000 Brazilian voters, which was pretty good to see that we had a very smooth election this year. Everybody who attended in Brisbane, the elections were held at the Edge, which is a facility within the State Library at the South Bank. It's just whoever has the voters who vote in the first turn, they can come along for the second turn. We're going to be there from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. local time in Brisbane. Please just make sure that there is a time difference between Brisbane and Sydney. So people have to come on Brisbane time. They just have to come along with the Brazilian document. Something that we always tell people, the Brazilian electoral legislation prevents people from doing collective manifestation and protests on the day of the election. So people who attended in the first turn, they were very polite. Everybody were exercising their right to vote. Was quite smooth. What people can do if they want to wait for the results at the end of the day, once we close the electronic ballot, the machine is able to print the results. So the consulate itself cannot publish the result because of the Brazilian law, but the voters can have access to these numbers, and then at the right time, from the finishing time, the print is going to be there. It's going to be shown to the public, and at least they have the chance to see how was the election in Brisbane and Queensland.
Beautiful, beautiful. And it's interesting that you mentioned this. So let's contextualize to our Australian friends. You were concerned because we have a very polarized election as well. The tensions are running high. So we do request people to avoid group manifestations at the day of the election. And I tell you what, and it's a personal advice, and you take it if you want it. But after, go to a pub and hug somebody who is voting for the opposition, because we are all in this together, no matter the result. So, Valmor, there is also, if you didn't vote, that's my case, okay? So I haven't voted in the first round. I couldn't travel to Sydney to do so because my address is still there. I haven't transferred to Brisbane, which is closer to home. But I can still vote in the second round. And there's a website that people can check where they are registered to vote just to make sure before they leave home.
Yes, that's true. If you jump on Google, consulta título e local de votação, it's going to appear, the first website is going to be Tribunal Superior Eleitoral, the Brazilian court, and then people can put their name and date of birth and name of mom and their mother's name, and then it's going to pop up the place and the address where they have to go. And also the tribunal provided one electronic app which people can download in their smartphone, either Apple or other brands. And then the app, once you put your contact details, the app is going to show up where you need to go and which documents you need to show at the day of the election.
Valmor Mano Velho, grato mais uma vez pela sua participação aqui no Brasil Central Rádio. Votos de sucesso amanhã e que vença o menos pior.
Então vamos lá. Muito obrigado, Alex, e a gente fala.
Meu Deus.
You, né?
Abraço, amigo.
You,
até mais.
Bye.
Very well. Let's get on with the program. Thank you so much. Valmor Moraes is the Honorary Consul for Brazil in Brisbane, talking about the technicalities. So there was a website you can Google, the Tribunal Superior Eleitoral, acha lá você põe os dados rapidinho e diz onde é que você está registrado para votar. Não marca toca não, seu voto é importante. Let's keep listening to Mano Brown, and I'll talk a little bit about this fella because he did have a very interesting participation in politics in the last 2 days. I think he gave a very interesting speech during a rally for the Labour Party, talking against the Labour Party. That was quite interesting. But let's listen to Lois Lane, and then I'll be right back and tell you this story.
Eu paro trem pra mostrar disposição e não vejo mais ninguém, oh não. Faço tudo pra te ver feliz, me arrisco na função, minha vida por um triz. Quero ser seu Superman, seja minha luz lane. Segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado, quero você. Segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado, quero você, quero você, quero você. Segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado, quero você. Segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado, quero você.
Por você eu paro um trem pra mostrar disposição e eu não vejo mais ninguém, oh não. Faço tudo pra te ver feliz, me arrisco na função, minha vida por um triz. Quero ser seu Superman, seja minha luz lane.
Segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado, quero você. Segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado, quero você, quero você, quero você. Segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado, quero você. Segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado, quero você. Segunda, terça, quarta, mostrar disposição e não vejo mais ninguém, oh não. Faço tudo pra te ver feliz, me arrisco na função. Minha vida por um triz, quero ser seu Superman. Seja minha luz, segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, sábado. Luz, seja minha luz,
If you've been searching for the kind of banking that comes with a personal touch and where you matter, talk to Southern Cross Credit Union. Visit your local team of banking specialists at our new Financial Service Centre in Byron Bay and experience why Southern Cross Credit Union was voted #1 for excellence in professional service in the Northern Rivers. Pay us a visit at 107 Johnson Street. Southern Cross Credit Union. Banking that works for you. Our station sponsor.
Whether you're painting a treehouse, the pool house, the main house or a warehouse, Kennards Hire has got what it takes to make any job easy. And now we're bringing easy to Byron Bay with Kennards Hire now open in town. With 70 years of experience and all the right gear, no matter how big or small your job, we're here to make it easy for Byron locals. So before you tackle your next project, come and see the team at Kennards Hire, Centennial Circuit, Byron Bay.
Sponsoring Bay FM.
And thank you, everybody, for sponsoring Bay FM. This is Brazil Central Radio. Hello, Mariana Avalone from Sydney and Juliana Fernandes from Rio de Janeiro, listening to the show right now and saying hi through Facebook. Brazil Central Radio is how you find us on Facebook. No space between the words, and Brazil with a Portuguese spelling. So there you go. You're going to give us a like on Facebook. You'll learn Portuguese. We write Brazil with S and not a Z. Okay? I have Rafael Brazil saying hi as well through the messenger. Hello, bro. He's our former music producer. And we're talking about elections. On Sunday, people will vote. The latest poll, I'm going to give it to you guys right now. Bolsonaro, 56% against Haddad, 44%. It's a big margin, but it was the difference dropped by 6 points from a couple of days ago. So it's good that everybody vote, so, majority wins. That's how it goes in democracy. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Mano Brown. His name is Pedro Paulo Soares Pereira. He's from 1970. He's from São Paulo. And his artistic name is Mano Brown, which is the Brother Brown. So Brazilian rapper, music producer, founding member of the hip-hop group Racionais MCs, the Rationals MCs. And Rolling Stone chose him as one of the 100 greatest artists in Brazilian music. And he was all over the news the past 2 days because he went to a rally from Haddad, the Labour Party. And people were talking and giving support, talking to the Labour Party crowd. And he stood up and made a hard criticism towards the Labour Party, who has been governing the country for more than a decade, saying that these guys need to do some self-criticism. And if they are losing contact with the people, they deserve to lose. Nevertheless, we have to take it into context. He was also there in support of the Labour Party, but he's asking for what a lot of people who haven't decided yet are asking as well, is for the Labour Party to do some self-criticism.
Mas o melhor que eu pude fazer. Se errei, só me dizer que tiver que ser tudo que eu preciso saber. Fiz bug pra você, baby. Fiz bug pra você entender. Yeah. Mas se você não vem, se você não vem, mas se você não vem. Você não vem, se você não vem.
companheiro, mas que dia de cão. Nessa porra sei não, que o seu truta precisa. Aquela filha de uma roubou minha brisa, usou, me atacou, ó, o laço agora é nó. E eu me sinto pior, meu truta, meu mal-estar, meu caos particular. Mente já confusa, na menor me acusa. O que o malandro não usa e nem diz. Juras de revolta fiz, uma cruz de giz. Falei pra ela, se o dia fui, já não sou um exemplo. Foi mal, desgaste natural desse tempo. Eu sei de manhã, afônico, insônia é pânico. Além do normal, meu mal humor crônico. Longe do lar, a luta das ruas, várias horas do ato. A 72, minha sina é briga, intriga da oposição. Vamos à luta, ladrão, gente nossa me grita. Ouvi vozes aflitas, tenho que ir. Pelo amor, pelo ego e vem multiplicar. Não me entrego, crioulo, eu sou zica. Porque a cena é hostil, tento me manter alto. Falei pra ela, comprei sapato de salto, te trouxe colar. Não pergunte nem julgue de onde vem buscar. Dessa noite, ó. Falei
mas
pra
se
ela,
você não vem, se você não vem, mas se você não vem, se você não vem, mas se você não vem, se você não vem, mas se você não vem, se você não vem.
You're listening to Bay FM 99.9.
Eu tentei te ligar.
Sozinho na multidão, boa noite São Paulo. Não me convidou pra festa. Boa noite São Paulo. Ferido no coração, boa noite São Paulo.
E você?
Ser feliz eu tenho pressa. Com uma ligação decide. Envolvido nesse crime por prazer. Festa, noite São Paulo.
Eu tentei te ligar.
Ferido no coração, boa noite São Paulo. Ser feliz eu tenho pressa. Tão feliz com seus amigos, não gostei. Você na sua brisa e eu com meu rancor. Neste chão. Sei que eu te proponho. Jardim secreto, a casa do meu sonho, matriz do meu lugar, país onde você poderia nadar. Sem lenda, sem venda, eu pensei te levar. Eu componho uma trilha, te ponho no trilho, te pego, te faço um filho, te daria o céu, meu bem, se você merecesse. Noite dessa, dia desses, chuvosos de outono. Posso ser seu macho e ser seu dono. Posso ser o que você quiser. Guarda-costa, o seu gangster, nem aí é vida zoada, fugir. Coração do seu malandro não aguenta, então pelo amor, nem tenta, moro.
Quem? Eu? Cidade Jardim. Águas espraiadas. Gorumuri. João Dias.
Sozinho na multidão, boa noite São Paulo. Não me convidou pra festa, noite São Paulo. Ferido no coração, boa noite São Paulo. Ser feliz eu tenho pressa.
multidão. Boa noite, São Paulo. Não me convidou pra festa. Ferido no coração. Boa noite, São Paulo. Ser feliz eu tenho pressa.
Boa noite, São Paulo, featuring William Magalhães. É isso aí, Mano Brown aqui no Brasil Central Rádio, Sponsorship Time.
Hi, it's Brett Haylock here from the Brunswick Picture House. Every month we present a big razzle-dazzle weekend with our signature show, The Cheeky Cabaret. Packed with laughs and mind-blowing skills with a different lineup every month, nights out don't come much better than this. The Cheeky Cabaret this Friday the 26th and Saturday 27th at 7pm. But wait, there's more. This Sunday afternoon, the amazing troubadour Michelangelo brings his internationally award-winning show to the Bruns Picture House, featuring the songs of Nick Cave, Tom Waits and Leonard Cohen in a special one-off event, not to be missed, this Sunday 5pm for Michelangelo. All shows selling fast, avoid disappointment and book now at brunswickpicturehouse.com. Proud sponsor of Bay FM.
Son of Drum Musical Instruments in Mullumbimby is a candy store for adults. Alive with the sounds of musical instruments you can try and taste with your ears. Son of Drum dispensing musical medicine for your heart and mind. Proud musical sponsors of Bay FM.
Tune in on the web and check us out at bayfm.org. Bay FM 99.9.
Yes, do it. Do it as Bianca Peixoto is doing all the way from London. Listen to us through bayfm.org. There's also Rodrigo Albuquerque, Thiago de Sábato. They are from Brazil. Vivian Avelato, Canberra. Very nice, guys. Nice to have you with us. And today is a special Brazilian elections. And I'm going to play to you something that was shown yesterday, broadcasted yesterday, actually, on the waves, through the waves of radio. ABC PM, Brazil polarized by-election with Deborah Farias was an interview with Linda Mottran, ABC PM.
Brazil is Australia's biggest competitor as an iron ore exporter, and it is a nation polarised. On Sunday, it could elect its first far-right president since the country emerged from military dictatorship in the mid-1980s. The polls say the populist hard-right politician Jair Bolsonaro will easily win office. He's ridden a wave of anti-government sentiment after 14 years of rule by the Workers' Party, or PT, fuelled by the powerful use of social media and a perfect storm of economic downturn, corruption and rising crime. So riven is Brazil that people are scratching family members from Christmas lists over their political differences, says Deborah Farias. She is Brazilian-born and she's a lecturer at the University of New South Wales. She joined me earlier.
One fact I think kind of goes unnoticed, which is since we re-democratized in the mid-'80s, we haven't had a conservative party going for the executive position. So most of the debates since the mid-'80s have been left or right when it comes to economic issues. But we hadn't had this sort of progressive and conservative. So he does come in with this sort of representation for these more conservative values, but he was able to really galvanize all the frustrations around him.
And I guess we should mention the use of social media because Facebook is, I think, the second largest uptake of Facebook in Brazil in the world, and the use of WhatsApp. That looks like it might breach some electoral rules. How powerful has it been, though?
It's been very, very powerful. In a way, it's a new sort of universe. It's not that we didn't have social media 4 years ago, but it's just that it's been increased. And there's an important element to it. In August of this year, Bolsonaro's oldest son, Eduardo Bolsonaro, who's also a federal congressman, he met with Steve Bannon.
They've obviously picked up on the skills of someone like Bannon.
Exactly.
And so there may be a dispute about that. We'll see.
Yes.
If Bolsonaro becomes the president, can he fix any of those big things that Brazilians are worried about?
That is the 207 million vote question. We have 207 million people. And that's the thing that we don't know. Because on the one hand, I mean, I would love to see him succeed, obviously. I would love to see anybody succeed with Brazil's problems. But even though I'm an optimist, I'm very, very hesitant to say he's going to, be able to do that. He's been in Congress for 27 years and his record is very, very thin. Very thin. But the election isn't so much about platforms. The election has gone into a twilight zone of what are you afraid of the most and not necessarily who do you think will do a better job.
What is the nature of the conversation in Brazil? You and I were talking earlier and you said that people are not talking to each other, they're talking at each other. That sounds very divisive.
Yeah. No, it's extremely, extremely polarized. And I mean, people are joking, saying that this Christmas they're going to spend less money on gifts because families are just torn apart. So you're not going to gift a whole bunch of people. The problem is that you have an extreme polarization. And this is, we're talking about Brazil, which is not exactly known for, a very moderate sort of discussion. But this one is something that we've never seen before. So there's two very, very different narratives. And it's almost impossible to sort of bring a conversation where you can say, well, yeah, you got a point, and I'll think about that. It's everyone is saying that the other one is blind, and they're the ones who know the truth.
Bolsonaro, of course, much has been made of the really quite terrible comments he's made in the past on issues to do with rape, on issues to do with murder under previous military regimes, torture on gays. Does he still have those views? Has he transformed at all?
Well, I would love to say that it's only a campaign thing, but it is scary because when you actually look at some of his voting records in Congress, because he was there for a long time, you do see things that really give pause for concern. Again, and nobody really knows this question, but it would be if he does win and if he does try to implement certain things that are very unpopular, would he be able to go through with that? Or is it something that the institutions, even though they are relatively weak compared to other countries, but they would still be able to do some sort of checks and balances? He is trying to sort of minimize the very controversial things, and the people who are voting for him, they tend to be like, yeah, I don't really like some of the things that he said, but we need change. And then you sort of change the narrative and minimize all of the nasty comments.
You mentioned institutions really still growing since Brazil redemocratized in the mid-80s, but there is a Congress.
Yes.
There was an election for a Congress, so there's a new Congress. How useful is that going to be in mediating any extremes in this regard?
That's also another interesting question. So in Brazil, we have the Senate, and then we have the House of Representatives. And the House of Representatives has 513 members. Now, there are 30 parties, that is 30 parties inside the House of Representatives. And if you actually look at the two largest parties, one of which is the Workers' Party and the second one is the party of Bolsonaro, the two of them only have 21% of all votes. The top 5 parties only have about 40%. So there is a lot of fragmentation. This is something that's structural. It's something that we've had for pretty much since the 90s. On what is the hope? The hope is that you can actually have some sort of consensus and the very extreme views or anything that's too problematic won't go through. But the record for the Brazilian Congress hasn't really been that. What's been is a lot of giving and taking and say, I will support you, whoever's in the executive, but what do I get in return? And you have to negotiate with all of these little parties that have 20, 15, 17, 9, which makes any sort of change difficult. Now, that also can be a good thing, because if any change is difficult, then you might also slow down a very radical or unpopular proposal. But it's something that nobody's really sure.
Brazilians decide on their president on Sunday. Deborah, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Deborah Farias speaking to Linda Mottran, PM show on radio. If you don't know Radio National, I'm talking to the Brazilian community specifically, you should. It's an asset of the Australian people. I like it very much. Still in the rap vibe, this time with Rincon Sapiência, and this is the Verso Livre Ponta de Lança. I like this fella.
Salve! Ok. Rincon Sapiência, conhecido também como Manicongo, certo? Quando alguém fala que eu não sou um MC acima da média, eu falo... Eu não entendo nada, pai. A cultura do MC ainda vive, certo? Se depender de mim. Vambora! Meu verso é livre, ninguém me cancela. Tipo Mandela saindo da cela. Minhas linhas voando, cheia de herói. Dá dó das cabeças quando rela nela. Partiu para o baile, fugiu da balela. Batemos tambores, eles panela. Roubamos a cena, não tem canivete. As pates derrete que nem mussarela. Quente que nem a chapinha no crespo, não. Crespos estão se armando. Faço questão de botar no meu texto que pretas e pretos estão se amando. Quente que nem um conhaque no copo, sim. Pro santo tamo derrubando aquele orgulho que já foi roubado. Na bala de meia vai recuperando. Vários homem bomba pela quebrada, tentando ser certo na linha errada. Vários homem bomba, bumbum granada. Se tem permissão, tamo dando sarrada. Seu rap é ruim, na rua não tem as andanças, porra nenhuma. Fica mais fácil fazer as tatu e falar sobre a cor da erva que fuma, raiz africana. Fiz aliança, ponta de lança, babara uma. De um jeito ofensivo, falando que isso é tipo macumba. Espero que suma, música preta a gente assina. Funk é filho do gueto, assuma. Faço a trilha de quem vai dar dois e também faço a trilha de quem vai dar uma. Eu não faço o tipo de herói, nem uso máscara estilo zorro. Música é dádiva, não quero dívida. Eu não nego que quero o torro. Eu não nego que gosto de ouro. Eu não curto levar desaforo. Nesse filme eu sou o vilão 300, Rodrigo Santoro eu enfrento. Coragem eu tomo, me alimento nas ruas e somo. Restaurante, bares e motéis, é por esses lugares que como. Anjos e demônios me falaram vamos. E no giro do louco nós fomos. A perdição, a salvação, a rua me serve tipo mordomo. Tô burlando lei, Picadilha rock. Quando falo rei, não é Presley. Olha o meu naipe, eu tô bem snipe. Tô safadão, tô Wesley. Eu tô bonitão, tá ligado, fei? Se o padrão é branco, eu erradiquei. O meu som é um produto pra embelezar, tipo Jequiti, tipo Mary Kay. Como MC, eu apareci, pra me aparecer eu ofereci uma zima quente como Hennessy. Pra ficar mais claro, eu escureci aquele passado, não me esqueci. Vou cantar autoestima que nem Lessi. Às vezes eu acerto, às vezes eu falho. Aqui é trabalho igual Muricy. A noite é preta e maravilhosa, Lupita Nyong'o. Tô perto do fogo que nem o couro de tambor numa roda de jongo. Nesse sufoco tô dando soco, que nem lango-lango. Se a vida é um filme, meu Deus, é que nem Tarantino. Eu tô tipo Django. Amores e confusões, curas e contusões. Fazendo minha mala do pique cigano. Tô sempre mudando de corações. Luz e decorações, sorriso amarelo nas ilusões. Os pretos é chave, abram os portões. Quando eu havia gravado a Linhas de Soco, eu falei, pô, tô pra ouvir um bagulho que nem esse. Aí eu gravei mais essa ainda. Ai, como é que fica? Valorizando a cultura do mestre de cerimônia no Rap BR, certo? Tá faltando. Pega eu, pai.
Tune in on the web and check us out at bayfm.org. BayFM 99.9.
Certo? Eis aqui mais uma canção dedicada a toda a classe trabalhadora. Tão cansativa como a rotina de trabalho, aquele longo trajeto de ir e vir. Vamos nessa. Trabalhadora, voltando pra casa, perguntando pra Deus por que não tenho asas pra voar pelos ares e voltar para o lar. A real, ônibus cheio dói só de pensar. Na bolsa um livro novo, não tem condição. Leitura na multidão, frustração. 9 horas no trabalho, é bem mais suave que as 2 horas balançando na condição. O dia inteiro dando duro, uma volta cansativa. Ainda desce bem no ponto mais escuro. A violência subindo de nível
invisível. No receio da solidão, a sensação da mulher é horrível. Ela caminha, semblante preocupado, escuridão. O bar da rua se encontra fechado. Quanto vale uma vida? Pensa no seu pivete. Na bolsa tem a Bíblia, também tem canivete. Faça o bem, que o bem vai te merecer. Mas ela sabe que o pior pode acontecer. Na madrugada pelo bairro impera o sono. Holofote quebrado, matagal, abandono. Se ela atrasa, seu dinheiro será descontado. E a firma ao menos oferece um ônibus fretado. E a sua mente quente como brasa só vai relaxar quando entrar dentro de casa. Oh.
É hora de voltar pra casa. Trabalhador só quer chegar bem. Infelizmente não tem asas e precisa das ruas e das linhas do trem. A condução está tão cara, conforto é algo que não tem. Mas o trabalhador encara essa rotina sem nunca depender de ninguém.
Da casa pro trampo, do trampo pra faculdade. O corpo exausto, apesar da pouca idade. Sem novidade, a mesmíssima rota. Tentando ser um bom funcionário com boas notas. Trabalhar, estudar, nem sempre se encaixa. Nem mesmo no fim da aula o aluno relaxa. Pensar na volta, no clima lá fora. O metrô não funciona por 24 horas. Logo vem na mente os lençóis. E o busão vai parando nos pontos e nos faróis. É feroz esse desafio. Manhã, tarde ou noite, é raro um busão vazio. Ele se adianta, violência espanta. Sua família ansiosa o espera pra janta. A madruga é tensa quando um estouro canta. A mãe já pensa coisas, dá um nó na garganta. Oh, perigo em todos os lados. Quanto mais dinheiro, vivem mais isolados. A violência na cidade tem se espalhado. Se isola mais ainda quem tem um carro blindado. Andando com cuidado, os passos apertados. Receio de sofrer um abuso de um homem guardado. Chegando em casa ele se sente mais aliviado. É recebido com calor de um abraço apertado. Oh.
É hora de voltar pra casa. Trabalhador só quer chegar bem. Infelizmente não tem asas e precisa das ruas e das linhas do trem. A condução está tão cara, conforto é algo que não tem. Mas o trabalhador encara essa rotina sem nunca depender de ninguém.
Muito bem, ladies and gents, this is Rincon Sapiência, new generation of Brazilian hip-hop. I like this guy very much. He's so smart, great poet, great swing too. And this particular song that we were listening to called Returning Home. So it's talking about how hard it is sometimes for Brazilian people to go back home from work because it's dangerous and so much criminality going on. And actually, since we're talking about elections, this is the major flag for the far-right candidate Jair Bolsonaro. Like it, we or not, criminality in Brazil is just growing. The amount of people in prison has grown immensely with the Labour Party in power, and Jair Bolsonaro has been very successful in harvesting this anger, this energy, the fear people have to go around in places without being robbed or even killed. Brazil has more than 60,000 homicides a year. It's more than a lot of wars in other countries. And talking about war, his approach is pretty much war on crime. So he wants to give policemen the peace of mind, if I can say that, quote unquote, to shoot criminals and kill them, and that they won't be persecuted. And that's obviously scary. On top of that, he also wants to facilitate the access to civilians to guns in a similar fashion of the United States. And we obviously know that that's also a great concern that can create more violence. So we're going to talk soon to Marcio. He's a Bolsonaro supporter. I'm going to ask him about those things. But right now is sponsorship time, and I'll be back with you in a second.
Linen House Outlet has arrived in Mullumbimby. Looking to update your home or Airbnb without breaking the bank? We stock a huge range of bed, bath, living, dining and kids' homewares for every aesthetic. As an Australian family-owned business for 25 years, we're so excited to join the Byron Shire community with our first store in New South Wales. Imagine sleeping on bamboo cotton, the silkiest of sheets, or our pure Belgian linen, which is breathable, soft and has a beautifully relaxed look, perfect for tropical climates. Come and feel for yourself at 33 Burring Bar Street, Mullumbimby. Linen House Outlet is always up to 70% off. Let us help you create your dream home. Sponsors of Bay FM.
Got the big bank blues? Hi, I'm Russell Shaw, representing Acceptance Finance as a personal banker and lending consultant. The backing of a large national group means I deal with major lenders to get you the loan that suits your situation. I maintain relationships with my customers over the long term, just like bank managers did in the good old days. But you won't need to go to any big buildings. I'll come to you at a time that suits you. So call me, Russell Shaw, on 66 80 80 45 or find me on acceptancefinance.com.au. Sponsoring Bay FM.
Convoque seu Buda, crioulo.
Convoque seu Buda, o clima tá tenso. Mandaram avisar que vão torrar o centro. Já diz o ditado apressado, come cru. Aqui não é GTA, é pior, é Grajaú. Sem pedigree, bem louco. Machado de Xangô fazer honrar teu choro. Juzi na mão, soldado do morro. Sem alma, sem perdão, sem chão, sem apavoro. Cidade podre, solidão é um veneno. Umbral que é mais Xandão, heróis craque no centro. Na tribo da folha, favela desenvolvendo. No jutsu secreto, Naruto é só um desenho. Os cara que cola pra ver se catamina. Umas mina que cola e atrapalha ativista. Mudar o mundo do sofá da sala, postar no Insta e se a maconha for da boa, que se foda a ideologia. Ninjitsu, Oxalá, capoeira, jiu-jitsu, Shiva, Ganesh, Zep, Linda e Equilibrium. Ao trabalhador que corre atrás do pão, é humilhação demais que não cabe nesse refrão. Ninjitsu, Oxalá, capoeira, jiu-jitsu, Shiva, Ganesh, Zep, Linda e Equilibrium. Ao trabalhador que corre atrás do pão, é humilhação demais que não cabe nesse refrão.
E se não resistir e desocupar, entregar tudo pra ele, então o que será? E se não resistir e desocupar, entregar tudo pra ele, então o que será?
Sonho em corrosão, migalhação, como assim bala perdida, o corpo caiu no chão. Não trago pra morte cirrose de depressão. Se o pensamento nasce livre aqui, ele não é não. Sem culpa católica, sem energia eólica, a morte rasga o véu, é o fel, vem na retórica. Depressão é a peste entre os meus, plano perfeito pra vender mais carros teus. A beleza de um povo, favela, não sucumbir. Meu lado africano, aflorar, me redimir. O anjo do mal alicia o menininho. E toda noite alguém morre, preto ou pobre por aqui. Ninjitsu, Oxalá, capoeira, jiu-jitsu, Shiva, Ganesh, Zep, Linda e Equilibrium. Ao trabalhador que corre atrás do pão, é humilhação demais que não cabe nesse refrão. Ninjitsu, Oxalá, capoeira, jiu-jitsu, Shiva, Ganesh, Zep, Linda e Equilibrium. Ao trabalhador que corre atrás do pão, é humilhação demais que não cabe nesse refrão.
E se não resistir e desocupar, entregar tudo pra ele, então o que será? E se não resistir e desocupar, entregar tudo pra ele,
É isso aí, galera. Pedra, como diz meu amigo Rafael Brasil, nós estamos trocando as mensagens aqui, comentando das músicas, né? Pretty cool stuff. This one was Convoque Seu Buda, because the situation is tense. So this is how a lot of people are seeing the elections in Brazil, tense times, with a lot of people, saying, as we listened also in the interview not long ago, people instead of talking to each other, talking at each other. So it's been very polarized. And trying to understand a little bit more this polarization, I'm going to talk live in a live feed from Brisbane to Marcio Soares da Silva. He is a Brazilian, but also Australian citizen. He works in IT. He's been here for 7 years. And he is a declared Bolsonaro supporter. Oi, Márcio, tudo bom, cara?
Opa, tudo ótimo. E você?
Tudo bem, cara. Muito obrigado aí por atender a gente, assim, meio que de última hora, mas vale a pena a gente refletir um pouquinho desse momento tão importante do Brasil. Márcio, let's swap to English now. Can you tell me why do you support Bolsonaro? Why do you think he's the best option for Brazil at the moment?
I believe that Jair Bolsonaro is the best option at the moment for Brazil due to the moment that Brazil is facing. And the former party, PT, Work Party, they had their fair go. They had 13 years to bring something good to Brazil, and all they brought was unemployment rate skyrocketing, the economy is broke, education quality is just decreasing, investment in education, they just didn't give the support that they should be giving. Then the public security is like the numbers of people that are being killed just raise. So I believe that Jair Bolsonaro has the best message and the best ideas for Brazil at the moment, like decreasing taxes, work really hard on public security, and not be involved in corruption.
So do you? So I understand your concern, and we were speaking a couple of minutes before that. Actually, this fight against criminality that is rampant in Brazil, and I agree that it's out of control for a while now, and something needs to be done. But aren't you afraid that, for instance, facilitating access of civilians to guns is only going to make the problem a bit worse? And also, Bolsonaro also wants to give more authority to policemen to kill people in case when they face criminals instead of bringing them to justice. Do you think this sort of justice, this war-mongering type of approach is exactly what Brazil needs right now?
Well, my point of view is that some messages that Bolsonaro brings via media, they are not really well understood. There are people that they twist some of his words. Well, I follow his channel on YouTube, and the message for me is very clear. If you don't carry guns and you are a good person, you won't have problem with police shooting at you. If you are a threat for security of good people, yes, I believe that your life would be in trouble. So if you don't want to get in trouble with police, just do the right thing. Regarding thinking that everyone will be armed, everyone will receive guns for free, it doesn't work like that. He already told that he's against the way that the referendum was carried out and what the government of Work Party decides to make it difficult for good people to have guns. He just want to make it easier for good people with no criminal history.
Okay, we lost Marcio there. We'll try to get back to him as soon as possible. So he's a Bolsonaro supporter. He's talking from Brisbane. We'll try to contact him again. And let's listen to more music. This one, it's called There's No Love in São Paulo, also by Criolo.
Não existe amor em SP, um labirinto místico, onde os grafites gritam, não dá pra descrever numa linda frase de um postal tão doce. Cuidado com doce, São Paulo é um buquê. Buquê são flores mortas, num lindo arranjo, arranjo lindo feito pra você.
There's No Love in São Paulo. That's the name of the song by Criolo. The album is Nó da Orelha. I'm going to play this tune again to you because it's a beautiful tune. Beautiful lyrics as well, talking about... It's very contextual to what's happening in Brazil right now. We are back with Marcio Soares da Silva. So, Marcio, você tá aí? Tá tudo bem aí? So I'd like to hear more from you because, I got the point that if you're good people, you shouldn't fear. The police is going to only target the criminals. We know that in reality, a lot of people end up dying. Innocent people will end up dying in this war, especially in the poor areas, where especially young black men. It already happens right now. They sometimes are caught in cross bullets. And there was a guy carrying an umbrella. He was killed because the police from afar thought that he was carrying a big gun. So we know that Brazilian police is underprepared to deal with the amount of guns we have on the streets. Do you think they will be ready to tackle when we have, how Brazilians get on football? If they drink too much, sometimes they fight. Are you not scared that that's going to create a bigger problem? Do you think also people, on top of that, people are ready to defend themselves if they are afraid and somebody's going to rob them? The thing to do is react and do whatever it takes.
Yeah, my view regarding this issue is that what he wants to make easier is regarding you possess a gun at your house, not on the street. There is a big difference between that. So if someone getting your property, if it's to commit some crime, I believe that you have the opportunity to defend yourself. This is how I see it, yes.
Yeah, no, fair point. Let's move on because the show is almost to the end. So we had Julia Harger. She's a member of the LGBT community. And we know that Bolsonaro had given a lot of declarations saying that he wouldn't be able to love if he had a gay son. There's a lot of contentions. The LGBT community it's speaking against him very harshly. We do know cases of people being persecuted right now, afraid to go on the streets by themselves. So what are your thoughts about this? Are you in favor of this homophobic perspective from Bolsonaro? Or you think he's stepping out of line? You're voting for him anyway?
Well, my view is that people that had this problem regarding being afraid of someone that is conservative reacting to progressive behavior, they already are afraid. So I don't believe that because a new president that come in power would change anything regarding that, because we have the Constitution. So he cannot do anything. He wants to put everyone lined up and kill them. He cannot do that. So I believe that there is a lot of people being afraid, but just overreacting.
So you don't think that we are under the risk of having a new military dictatorship, even though he is a former military, his vice president is a military as well?
No, I don't think that, because when Bolsonaro says about the dictatorship that happened in Brazil, he never, I doubt anyone to find a video or audio without cuts or edition saying that he wants to implement a new dictatorship. He just talks about that time, that the dictatorship was important for that time, not for our time. So there is a big difference between these.
All right, thank you very much. Marcio Soares da Silva, good luck. Boa sorte aí na eleição. Obrigadão por ter falado com a gente. Um grande abraço.
De nada, um abraço. Cheers.
Cheers. Muito bem, esse foi o Marcio Soares da Silva, and we don't have time for anything else at the moment. I'm going to play one last tune and I'll And I'll pass it on to Tisha at the Groovy Out. Thank you so much for listening. I might record an editorial about the elections later on in our channel on Facebook, but thank you so much for being with us. The last song is the one I started playing, couldn't finish. There's No Love in São Paulo, Não Existe Amor em SP com Criolo. Até sexta que vem.
Não existe amor em SP, um labirinto místico, onde os grafites gritam, não dá pra descrever numa linda frase de um postal tão doce. Cuidado com doce, São Paulo é um buquê. Buquê são flores mortas, num lindo arranjo, arranjo lindo feito pra você. Não existe amor em SP, os bares estão cheios de almas tão vazias, a ganância vibra, a vaidade excita. Devolva minha vida e morra afogada em seu próprio mar de ferro. Aqui ninguém vai pro céu. Morrer pra ver Deus, não precisa sofrer pra saber o que é melhor pra você. Encontro tuas nuvens em cada escombro, em cada esquina. Me dê um gole de vida. Não precisa morrer pra ver Deus. Amor em SP, um labirinto místico, onde os grafites gritam, não dá pra descrever numa linda frase de um postal tão doce. Cuidado com doce, São Paulo é um buquê. Buquê são flores mortas, num lindo arranjo, arranjo lindo feito pra você. Não existe amor em SP, os bares estão cheios de almas tão vazias, a ganância vibra, a vaidade excita. Devolva minha vida e morra afogada em seu próprio mar de ferro. Aqui ninguém vai pro céu. Precisa sofrer pra saber o que é melhor pra você. Encontro tuas nuvens em cada escombro, em cada esquina. Me dê um gole de vida. Não precisa morrer pra ver Deus. Precisa morrer pra ver Deus.
Respect to the Bundjalung Nation. Bay FM 99.9.
Brazil Central.